Sheffield Wednesday are absolutely screwed coming into this season. There is no way to sugarcoat it, and Owls fans, even the most diehard Owls fans, even the most optimistic Sheffield Wednesday supporters will concur with that. The situation right now at their club is downright diabolical. It is not the first time this has happened in English football. We've seen some shocking owners in the history of football, but Defjon Chansiri has really given the likes of Dai Young and the Oystons at Blackpool a run for their money at this point. And the thing is, those situations are gone. Those situations have passed. This is still going on, and it is getting worse and worse and worse. I'm recording this on the 18th of July 2025, the same day that you will likely see this video, the same day it's going to be published on all of our socials. And I'm saying that because things are developing. I'm seeing developments all the time with this. It is constantly changing, and it is also just getting worse. It is not getting better, unfortunately, and there doesn't really seem to be much of a light at the end of the tunnel here for Sheffield Wednesday fans. I really feel for them. I honestly do. It is downright embarrassing what is happening to their club right now. But what is happening, and how did we get here, and is there a way out? Honestly, is there a way out of this? Well, I'm going to explain all in this video for you guys today. So, despite having one of the highest ticket prices in not only the Championship, but also England as a whole, Sheffield Wednesday fans have not been treated to much success at all over the last few years. If you actually do go to Hillsborough, you will not be treated to a good experience, which you would expect for having some of the highest ticket prices around. And it's no exaggeration to say their stadium is literally falling apart. Their North Stand reportedly, and this could come out in the last 24 hours or so, their North Stand could be shut this season because when it's been surveyed for its safety certificate, significant levels of rust have been spotted by the council. So they are reportedly considering not allowing it to be opened unless significant renovations are made. And with the financial situation right now around Sheffield Wednesday, that is just not going to happen. And even if it could, it would take an extensive period of time to actually remedy these kinds of inherent problems. It's no wonder that Sheffield United fans call Hillsborough these days the Theatre of Rust. It's very much living up to its name, unfortunately. And let's not get it mixed up here. You know, Hillsborough historically was a big stadium in England. They played World Cup games there in 1966. They played Euros games there in 1996 as well when England hosted that tournament. This is also the stadium that historically used to be one of the traditional venues for the FA Cup semi-finals before it got moved to the new Wembley after that stadium got built. So to see it in this state is just downright embarrassing. But what's caused this? How has it got to this stage? Because it wasn't that long ago Sheffield Wednesday were actually close to being able to be promoted to the Premier League. They made the playoffs on two occasions in 2015-16 and also 2016-17. In 15-16, they got to the final against Hull City where they lost at Wembley Stadium, and they actually improved their league position the following season up to 4th from 6th before, but they lost in the semi-final stage against Huddersfield Town. On both occasions, they lost to the side that got promoted to the Premier League. Very fine margins, just literally one goal in the case of Hull City and also a penalty shootout in the case of the Huddersfield Town fixture. But after that incredible investment, because, you know, to give him his credit early on, Defjon Chansiri really did invest heavily in the Owls squad. They were one of the highest spending sides, both in terms of wage budget and also transfer budget as well, in those initial 2 seasons. But after that, the money just wasn't there. They would have got hit with financial restrictions, most likely, if they did not curtail their spending a bit. And after that, they basically just slowly slid down the Championship table and eventually ended up in the 3rd tier, League One, by 2021-22. 2 seasons later, though, they were back in the Championship. But that very fleeting bit of success, that optimism around Hillsborough, it went away fast. Their manager, Darren Moore, was controversially sacked. According to Chansiri, he was asking for too much money. According to Moore, he was only asking for a moderate pay rise. Whatever the truth is, Moore left and he was replaced by Cisco Munoz, who proceeded to lose almost every single game he had in charge at the start of that season. They seemed doomed. They seemed marooned to the bottom of the table in the Championship. But step up Danny Roll, who in his first senior management role did an incredible job to keep them in the division, got them to 20th and relative safety, when they seemed absolutely dead and buried after just 10 games in that campaign. And last season they improved to 12th, a solid mid-table finish, and there were genuine chances they might have made the playoffs had things ended up differently. But towards the end of the season, they were losing a lot of games, were Sheffield Wednesday, and a reason for this probably was the fact that the wages for the players and the staff were not paid on time for March. You look at their form really started to dip off at that point. Hopes of a playoff push very much went by the wayside, and they were just happy. Fans were just happy to survive, really, given the torture they went through the season before. But the torture has very much returned. Now, the reason for this reportedly is because Chansiri's family, who are very rich, they're a Thai family, they own, I think their biggest business really is the tuna trade, which is raking them in absolute billions. But reportedly, he is a bit of a black sheep of the family, is Stefan Chansiri at this point. He's spending too much money, he's wasting too much money, at least in their eyes, on something that in their eyes is not exactly crucial to the family business, as it were. At least that is what the rumblings around the club are saying anyway. The family have reportedly cut the money supply off for Chansiri. And the results and what has happened since then absolutely go along with that as well, because in addition to not being paid on time in March of this year, staff and players were also not paid on time in May or June, the previous 2 months. It's yet to be seen whether they will be paid on time in July. And because of these financial issues that really started a few years ago, when Chansiri, back in November 2023, actually kind of blackmailed the fans, really trying to gaslight the fans and say, look, if you want to save your club, if you really want to show how much you love your club, you are going to donate £2 million to me so I can pay a HMRC bill. Unsurprisingly, the Sheffield Wednesday fans didn't have that much. I mean, this is coming from a club that charges the highest price for season tickets and general tickets in the EFL. I believe they have no concessions, so even children have a full price ticket, which is just downright disgraceful. It really is a miracle how high their attendances are given how much they are charging. There's no way I'd go watch my team if they were charging me and my son those kinds of prices to watch it. It's just simply unaffordable for a lot of families, especially in this cost of living crisis era that we're in at the moment. But anyway, enough rants about those prices. Unsurprisingly, that bill was not paid on time, and therefore Sheffield Wednesday were put under a transfer embargo by the EFL. A transfer embargo that they are still in and will still be in until summer 2026 at the earliest. This is all presuming there are no further offences. Like I said, we're yet to see if they are going to be paid on time for July or not. Of course, right now, there are no football matches on. There's no revenue being generated by the club. Yes, they have very much thinned out the squad. In fact, at the time of recording, there are only 15 senior players on their books. So their wage bill will have gone down, but they are bringing in basically zero revenue right now. So I will be surprised if they manage to get paid for July 2025 on time. I hope they do, but I'd be surprised given what's happened in the last few months. And as part of these financial restrictions on Sheffield Wednesday, probably the most damning part about it is the fact that they can't bring in any players for any kind of fees. They can bring in players for free transfers, they can loan in players, I do believe, but the problem is that they cannot pay more than £6,000 per week for any player on their entire squad, including the players that are already there. They can't pay them any more than that. Now, by the standards of the Championship, that is the lowest by far. Even the poorest clubs in the Championship, they will still probably have players that are on at least 15 grand, 12 grand a week minimum, and that is the maximum they can pay. £6,000 per week. And that's presuming they can even pay it, given the fact, again, that Chansiri has not paid the wages in 3 of the last 4 months on time. I should stress that they have now been paid, I believe, for March and May, although the June payment, I don't even know if that's come in yet, to be honest. Answers in the comments below, please, if you got information on that. But the fact they're not being paid on time is just downright terrible. Yes, okay, a lot of these footballers are pretty rich. They can weather this kind of storm, but they shouldn't have to. They have a contract. They have agreed to payment terms. They should receive their salary just like anybody. But think about the ground staff, the caterers, the stewards, people like that. They are probably all living paycheck to paycheck. They need to get paid for their services, and they're not. It must be absolute hell for them. And in fact, Sheffield Wednesday fans have actually done several fundraisers to try and pay the workers who have not been paid yet for the month of June. They're probably going to have to keep doing it though, because yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But in terms of a takeover, there's obviously been talk of takeovers happening. The club is unofficially up for sale, but nobody yet has come in. Milan Mandaric, the man that sold Sheffield Wednesday to Chansiri, was reportedly interested in rebuying the club. However, talks broke down, didn't happen. There was rumours about John Textor doing that, but he can only do that after after he sells his shares in Crystal Palace, which he hasn't done yet. And that's all a big if. There's no concrete rumours that he'd even be interested. And given what the club's like right now, I think it'd be a hard sell, to be honest. The latest rumour is that Francesco Guardiasconi, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, he was the latest person to be interested in buying the club. But unsurprisingly, talks have broken down yet again there. Shock horror, never saw that coming. So right now at the time of recording, there is no concrete bid for Sheffield Wednesday, and there might not be another one. This is the thing, Chancery is holding out for a valuation price that is reportedly completely unreasonable for what is left of the club right now, which is not a lot really. They've been completely gutted by them. And like I said, 15 senior players. That's not even enough to fill a starting 11 and a full bench these days. Of course, 7 players on the bench these days in the Championship. The likes of Barry Bannon hasn't re-signed. He's currently a free agent, presumably because they could only offer him £6,000 a week, and that's probably a lot less than what he was on before. And I've actually seen some Sheffield Wednesday fans saying he should sign anyway. If he really truly actually loves the club, then he should do that. But I respectfully disagree with that. Why would you want to re-sign with the club right now for a cut price life? I mean, yeah, he's got a lot of money in the bank probably, but why should he be expected to go down to that kind of wage? It doesn't make sense to me. And he's not the only one either. The likes of Josh Windass and Michael Smith have all left on a free. I mean, if you look at their squad as well, 15 senior players, their only goalkeeper in there, they don't have a backup goalkeeper, just one goalkeeper. Their only goalkeeper in there is a 19-year-old academy product called Pierce Charles. What happens if he gets suspended or injured? They're going to have to put a literal, 16-year-old child in net. Or maybe get Chancery in net since he's good at blocking anything getting past him. I don't know. Honestly, it's genuinely awful what is happening right now. And we need to talk about Danny Roll quickly as well, because reportedly he has lost the dressing room. Or at least the players have lost a lot of respect for him anyway. Roll was heavily linked to go to both Leicester and Southampton during this transfer window, but shock horror, Chancery was not willing to let him go, which of course is his right. But the fact that Roll was wanting to go, and he did a fantastic job with the club in the last 2 seasons, and the fact that he was apparently not willing to negotiate with Southampton or Leicester, he was wanting to command a massive transfer fee for him. It was just never going to happen. It was just never going to happen. So because he very publicly wants to leave, he didn't return straight away. He has now returned to the club reportedly. But because he wants to leave and was very public about it, a lot of the players that are there have lost respect for him and lost the dressing room. So we'll see what happens, guys. The proof will be in the pudding this season. But honestly, I cannot see how they're going to survive. And let's just talk as well. Let's talk about potential points deductions, because all these HMRC breaches that they've done, they're probably going to get a penalty for this. I mean, Reading got a points penalty a few seasons ago for doing the exact same thing. And Sheffield Wednesday have done it 3 times, at least. They might do it for July as well. Make it 4. Why not at this point? But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about all this. 10th of August, the season starts. Do Sheffield Wednesday have any hope of surviving in the Championship? My vote would very much be no, personally, but you know which team I'm aligned to, so that's not really a surprise that I'm saying that. But in all seriousness, honestly, I feel for him. I really do. Imagine supporting Sheffield Wednesday right now. Maybe this football governance thing that's coming in will help, but I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if that makes any difference. And if it is, it's not going to be anytime soon. So your thoughts in the comments below, guys. If you're an Owls fan, let me know about the situation. I've tried to cover as much as I can. And like I said, at the time of recording, all this information is up to date and accurate. But it's a very much a developing story. We'll probably see more stories between now and the start of the season. Hopefully some good news ones, but I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. Have a great time, guys. See you very soon. And like I said, if you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan, sorry.